You know, Alex, I had this moment just last week that has been bugging me ever since. It was super awkward.
Oh, do tell. I sense a story brewing, and those are often the most potent lessons for anyone learning English. Don't hold back any of the uncomfortable details, because that's where the real learning happens for our listeners too.
Okay, so I was meeting a new study partner for the first time in person, first day of class. I really wanted to make a good impression, be friendly and outgoing, you know?
Absolutely, that's a completely natural desire when you're stepping into a new social environment. You want to convey warmth and competence right from the start. What did you say?
So I just took a deep breath and blurted out, very clearly, "Hello, my name is Emma. How are you doing today? It is a pleasure to meet you." I thought it was perfect.
Sounds perfectly polite and grammatically correct on the surface, Emma. You covered all the bases of a formal introduction. What happened next that made it awkward?
Well, he smiled, but then there was this tiny, almost imperceptible pause, like he was buffering or something. He just said, "Good, thanks. You too," and then, silence. It felt like I'd hit a brick wall, and I didn't know what to say next.
Ah, the silence. That's a classic symptom of what I call the overly formal introduction trap. You were aiming for warmth and correctness, but your phrasing might have felt a bit too stiff, almost like a recorded message or a script being read aloud, which can unintentionally create a barrier.
Wait, really? I thought saying "My name is Emma and it is a pleasure to meet you" was the most proper and friendly way to introduce myself.
It absolutely is grammatically correct, but the context and the rhythm of that first classroom introduction are like invisible tripwires for natural flow. Native speakers expect a slightly different, often more casual and integrated dance of words, especially with a new classmate you'll be seeing regularly.
So, saying "My name is Emma" instead of just "I'm Emma" makes that much of a difference? I always thought it was just a longer, more complete, and therefore better version.
It's like trying to wear a full tuxedo or ball gown to a casual coffee shop meetup. You're technically dressed, and elegantly so, but you feel completely out of sync with the environment. The "my name is" sounds very textbook, very performed, rather than organically conversational.
And how are you doing today? I thought it was more polite and detailed than just a simple "How are you?"
It adds a layer of formality and duration that, in a quick, casual first-time classroom intro, can unintentionally create distance, signaling a deeper, more extended check-in than what's typically expected. It's a very different vibe from a quick, "Hey, Emma, nice to meet you, what's up?"
So my attempt at being extra polite and clear just made me seem stiff and robotic? That's mortifying to think about.
Not mortifying at all, Emma, just an incredibly common misunderstanding of how natives use these seemingly simple phrases in different social registers. It's like using a precise, delicate scalpel when you really needed a quick, broad-stroke paintbrush, same general goal, but the wrong tool for the particular job.
Okay, I'm already seeing my past interactions in a terrifying new light. This is going to be a long, but very necessary, episode for my confidence.
It certainly will be, because what you experienced highlights a fundamental difference between how a language learner's brain approaches an introduction versus a native speaker's brain. For us, these introductory phrases aren't assembled piece by piece, they're retrieved as whole, often unconscious, emotional patterns.
Retrieved? Like a file from a cabinet? I always thought I just picked words and put them together like Legos.
Exactly. Imagine your brain has a little shortcut button for meeting someone new in a casual setting. When you press it, a whole sequence of sounds, rhythms, and feelings pops out automatically, without you even having to think about the individual words or their grammatical order. It's an instant download.
So, when I'm carefully building my introduction with Legos, a native speaker is just performing a fluid, well-rehearsed dance?
Yes, and your meticulous Lego construction, while structurally sound and grammatically correct, can sometimes feel stiff or clunky in comparison to that smooth, effortless dance. It's not wrong, but it lacks the natural rhythm that signals comfort and ease to another native speaker.
I always just focus on getting the grammar absolutely perfect. Is that actually a mistake in these situations?
It's not a mistake to prioritize grammar, but it becomes a subtle roadblock when that laser focus overshadows the feeling and flow of the interaction. You end up sounding grammatically impeccable but sometimes emotionally disconnected, which is incredibly confusing for a native ear, like a robot reading poetry.
Wait, really? Emotionally disconnected? That's the last thing I want to sound when I'm trying to be friendly.
Think of it like this. Imagine someone shows up to a fancy, black tie wedding wearing perfectly clean, well-ironed pajamas. They are technically wearing clothes, they are covered, but it sends a completely confusing and jarring signal about their understanding of the event and its social expectations. The attire doesn't match the occasion.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly how I felt inside. Like I was wearing linguistic pajamas to a social ceremony. I was dressed, but totally out of place.
Your intention was good, much like someone wanting to be comfortable, but the unspoken rules of the introduction ceremony dictate a certain kind of linguistic attire. We instinctively pick up on those subtle cues, and any misalignment creates that awkward pause.
So, my brain is overthinking and meticulously calculating every single word, while a native's brain is just gliding through the whole interaction effortlessly?
Precisely. Your brain is a meticulous architect, drawing out blueprints for every sentence in real time, while the native brain is more like a seasoned jazz musician, improvising effortlessly within established, familiar patterns. Both create, but the process and the outputs feel are vastly different.
This makes so much sense now why I feel so slow and awkward sometimes. It's like I'm trying to consciously calculate every step of a walk instead of just walking.
And that conscious calculation, while absolutely necessary in early stages, creates a subtle, almost invisible barrier in natural conversation. The listener hears the effort in the delivery, not just the words, and sometimes that effort translates into a perceived lack of naturalness, even if your grammar is absolutely flawless.
So, a native speaker isn't just listening to what I say, but how I say it, and what that how signals about my fluency and comfort.
Absolutely. The how is often more powerful than the what, especially in these initial, quick social interactions. It's the invisible handshake of communication, signaling belonging, comfort, or sometimes, as you experienced, a slight, almost imperceptible disconnect.
This is far more complex than I ever imagined for just saying hello and my name is.
It truly is, Emma, and this hidden complexity is precisely where the silent killers of beginner introductions lurk, ready to sabotage your confidence. These aren't big, obvious grammatical errors, they're subtle misalignments that textbooks often completely gloss over, leaving learners feeling perpetually off without knowing why.
Silent killers? That sounds incredibly ominous, like language ninjas.
They are, because they don't scream wrong, in a way you can easily identify and fix. Instead, they whisper awkward, to the native ear, creating those uncomfortable pauses. The first silent killer, Emma, is the rhythm and intonation of perceived sincerity.
The rhythm of sincerity? I always thought as long as I said the correct words, my sincerity would just be understood.
But the melodious rise and fall of your voice, the subtle pauses, the emphasis on certain syllables, these are the true, unconscious carriers of "I genuinely want to connect with you." Without them, even grammatically perfect words can sound hollow or rote, like a child reciting a memorized poem rather than truly feeling it.
So, even if I feel friendly and sincere inside, it might not sound friendly and sincere to a native speaker? That's terrifying.
Exactly. It's like trying to bake a delicious cake with all the right, fresh ingredients but forgetting to preheat the oven. The components are all there, but the crucial warmth and transformation that bring it to life are completely missing, leaving something that just doesn't quite hit the mark.
Okay, that's one incredibly subtle killer. What's the second silent killer that's making me sound so weird?
The second silent killer is the subtle art of leaving conversational room for the other person. Beginners often, out of nervousness or wanting to get all their information out, deliver their entire introduction in one long, unbroken, unpausing phrase, leaving no natural space for the other person to chime in or react organically.
Wait, really? I always felt like I had to say everything I wanted to say before I forgot it or lost my nerve.
And that's a perfectly natural fear, especially when you're under pressure. But imagine trying to have a comfortable conversation with someone who is constantly talking at you, without those tiny, almost imperceptible conversational pauses where you can nod, interject, or smoothly take your turn. It creates a linguistic traffic jam, a one-way street.
So, my desire to get all my information out quickly makes me seem overbearing or unwilling to listen.
It can certainly feel that way to a native speaker, yes. Natives expect these tiny, almost imperceptible openings, these small invitations to engage and co-create the conversation. Without them, the introduction can feel like a pre-recorded monologue, not a living, breathing dialogue. And now, for the third killer. The third silent killer is the unspoken expectation of genuine reciprocity that goes far beyond just the words. It's not just about what you say, but the nonverbal cues, the authentic eye contact, the genuine, unforced smile, the subtle body language that mirrors theirs. Books teach words, Emma, not these incredibly powerful, yet utterly unspoken signals of connection.
Okay, I'm officially scared of using this now. I feel like I've been making huge mistakes this whole time without even realizing it. Alex, please, tell me there's a simple secret to fixing all of this?